Hey y'all, you are tuned in to the Powerhouse Lash podcast. This podcast is my diary to the lash community where I share my highs, lows, lessons, and rants based on my lash journey. My heart is to share the reality of what it's really like to build a lash business, and I hope this episode helps you feel seen, validated, educated, humored, and makes your lash journey a little bit easier. I'm your host, T the Brand, and I'm glad that you're here. Now, let's get to it. Hey Lash Boss, welcome back to another episode of the Powerhouse Lash Podcast. I'm your host, T the Brand, and I'm happy to be here with you guys. Happy New Year again. I know the beginning of the year is when we're all resetting and reflecting and planning and strategizing how we're going to maximize our potential to reach our goals for the new year. So I thought that this would be a really great time to come on and just share information about my mentorship program. I started mentoring lash artists in November of 2021. That's when I launched my first mentorship program, and I think it was called the BYOB Lash Artist Academy or something like that. And BYOB stood for Be Your Own Boss. And so it was a 9-week program that we ended up cutting down to 7 weeks because it was running into the really busy holiday season. And so to help myself and to help the artists that I was working with, we kind of did 3 sessions in one. So it was a 9-week program where we covered this full curriculum that really gave you tools, helped you learn how to think as an entrepreneur, as a lash artist, to build your business, to build your brand, to build your clientele, and all the things. So that program, I only ran it once. So once it was done from November to December, I did not run that program back. And I also did not start accepting mentees again until the summer of 2022. I think it was maybe July when I accepted new mentees. And at the time, I had 4 mentees. I had a lash artist, a nail artist who was my nail artist, Nail Therapy by Jorian, and that's Joryin. Look her up on Instagram. She's the best in Dallas if you're in Dallas, Texas. So nail tech, lash tech, and I had 2 estheticians. So we were meeting in person once a month, and then I was trying to build connection with them outside of that once a month meeting so that we could really maximize or capitalize on the things that I was sharing and teaching them. I wanted them to grow. I wanted the information to be helpful and to be useful. I didn't want to just give free game. I wanted to show how to apply it so that you could see growth. So that was my first cohort that I had in 2022. And then about September, October-ish, I shared across all my platforms, Instagram, YouTube, possibly TikTok. I don't know. I'm gonna do TikTok this year, but I like scrolling TikTok, but I'm not a fan of having to be a creator on TikTok. So we'll see. But I'm going to do it. Like it or not. Okay, anyway, and Facebook. So I shared across those platforms that I was going to be opening up another cohort or another group of mentees. And so I was only accepting 5 at the time because, like I said, I already had 4 in one group, and I didn't want to overwhelm myself because I didn't have like a clear schedule or 100% clear system on how the mentorship would work and how I would work with everybody individually outside of our monthly master classes or whatever. So I accepted 5 new mentees in that second cohort. I had 4 lash artists and a photographer who is amazing. Shout out to you, Jalissa. If you ever hear this, her Instagram is Lady Burrows Photography, and it is spelled Burrows is spelled BURROUGHS. So hit her up if you're in Dallas, Texas, and you need some photos. So I had those 2 groups, and here's the thing: why I stopped mentoring with those groups, with all of the groups, even the November 2021 group. Our class came to an end, but of course, ongoing mentorship was still an option. And here's the thing. A lot of times we want mentors, but we don't want to use the mentors. And when we do use the mentors, we don't want to do what the mentors say do. And there's no point in having somebody to be a mentor, there's no point in paying somebody to help you if you're one, not going to reach out, and if you're two, not going to do the things that they're telling you to do. The reason that you get a mentor is to help you get along further along your journey a little bit easier with a little more insight. And if you are trusting somebody to help you do those things and you're not doing the things that they're telling you to do, then you don't need to be a mentee. You just need to struggle and figure it out for yourself. And I'm not trying to be rude or be ugly when I say that, but I'm being very realistic because personally for me, I love to help. My heart is to help. My heart is to just share everything that I know so that others don't have to struggle the way that I struggled to grow and learn in my industry, the lash industry. And so my heart is to make it easier for the lash artists. That's why I do YouTube and that's why I podcast. At one point I had an Instagram page for lash artists, but that was just overwhelming and I just could not. And I tried it like 3 times. And I'm like, okay, 3 times a charm. Yeah, it was not, we're not using that page. So my heart is to share and to help other artists. So when I take on mentees, especially if they're paying me, I expect them to do the things that I'm encouraging them to do so that they can see some results. And when that doesn't happen, it can be a little discouraging and frustrating for me because I really want to help. And then I start feeling like, okay, you're paying me this money and I don't need you wasting your money if you're not going to do the things that you need to do to actually get to where it is that you want to be or where you're trying to be. And what I'm saying and what I'm teaching and sharing is not just some stuff that I made up or some stuff that I found on the internet. It's something that I use. These are tools and strategies that I have used to help me, that I still use to help me grow, to help me market, to help me in every area of my business. So this year, I only want to work with artists who are ready to actually work. I don't want to work with people who see my videos on YouTube or see my lash sets on Instagram and they're like, "Oh my God, you're doing great and this and this and so much. I don't need you to see, oh, she went to LashCon, she got some money," because that is not what it is. I made an investment, I made a sacrifice so that I could further my education, as you should do in a mentorship. So again, I only want to work with people who are hungry, who are ready to do the hard work. And so here are some requirements that are going to be required to become a mentee with me this year. The first thing that my mentees will have to do, or potential mentees will have to do, is take my social media marketing and branding class. That class should be ready by February 1st. And it's an online class. It's self-paced. You move at your own, at your own pace. You have access to me. You can send me questions that you may have during the class process when you're going through it. But that class is super mandatory. And this is why. A lot of times what I'm teaching in mentorship programs is what's in that class. And so if I can accelerate that part, if I can teach you the things and give you the tools that you need, and then in our actual mentor-mentee relationship, we're working on how you can apply those things, how they best work for you, that gives you more of a mentor. It gives you more out of the mentorship relationship versus me walking you through every little step of marketing, social media marketing and branding, and you trying to apply it. So I'd rather, it's easier and it's just the smarter move to make, to have that class as a prerequisite. Everything is already there. Again, it's self-paced. You can move through it how you need to. You have access to me. You can ask all the questions and blah, blah, blah. Once you have taken that social media marketing and branding class, if you decide I want to work with T, I want T to be my mentor, then we can do that. And so 3 months of mentorship minimum is required when you sign up for that mentorship program. So what it will look like on my site is you'll have the option to take the class only. And the class is $300. And then you'll have the option to take the class and do 3 months of mentorship, which is a mandatory minimum. And that total is $540. The mentorship is $75 a month. And that's where the $240 comes in at. I think that math is right. I think. Anyway, so that's where the total comes from. But those 3 months are mandatory and are required. So the reason the 3 months is a requirement is because you need a realistic timeline to actually start seeing the things that you're doing manifest and take place and make change. If you're only working with me for a month, there's no way that you're going to see any progress. It doesn't matter if you do literally every single thing that I tell you to do in a month's time, nothing is going to change because consistency is key. You have to show up, you have to be consistent. And I think that's where a lot of business owners, especially in the beginning, my nail tech and I were just talking about this. This is where a lot of people tap out because you have to, one, keep perfecting your skill, the craft, so that you can actually do the job. But two, you have to learn how to market and brand. And that requires you to do the same thing over and over and over again. You have to get comfortable with being bored. Marketing can, I mean, yeah, you get to be creative in your marketing, but it can be a little boring because you're marketing the same thing to the same people all the time. But again, that's consistency. That's how you do it. It's super important. So anyway, you need at least 3 months before you can start seeing any kind of little progress. And after that 3 months, if you choose to continue mentorship, it's only $75 a month. You can pay month to month. I may do a bundle deal where you can pay 3 months and get something off. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that 3 month minimum is required. So first you'll have to take the class, and if you choose to do mentorship, all of that is paid at once. The mentorship and the class, and then or just the class. You can't get the mentorship without the class though. In the mentorship, what will be happening is we will have mandatory one-on-one bi-weekly check-in calls. It can be through Zoom. We may do it through FaceTime, but twice a month, we will get on the phone, we will connect, and we will talk for an hour about the progress that you are making. We need to talk about what you need to do. And if you're stuck on something, we're going to break that thing down so that you can create little small tasks and reach the goal in the end. But those bi-weekly calls are so important. Most of the people who I have worked with or have expressed that they wanted to work with me as their mentor, they have said that they need accountability. And my thing is, you got to be accountable for yourself because it don't matter how much I help, how much I check in, and how much I do whatever. If you don't do the work, then it's not going to get done. But that's what these calls are for. So prior to 2023, what I was doing with my mentees, I would just encourage them to reach out to me. If you need help, text me. I'm not busy 24/7. Like, I do have time for you. That if I didn't have time for you, I wouldn't have made that available through the mentorship program. So I would just really stress, like, text me, call me. I'm not going to be reaching out to you. This is your business. I'm your mentor. If you need me, let me know you need me. However, I didn't have many people take advantage of that. I would be, still trying to run around and connect with 9 mentees versus them trying to let me know, hey, this is what I need. Or if I reach out, they say they're good. But then when we get in our monthly masterclass, they got all these questions or they haven't made any progress or they feel stuck and blah, blah, blah. You have to use the relationship. So I'm going to make that easier on you and on me by making bi-weekly calls mandatory. We will set a day and a time that we will check in for 3 months every 2 weeks. Or every 2 weeks for 3 months. And if you miss those calls, then you miss your call. But I am very serious about being there to help you be accountable and to really help you work through this process. I'm not creating any type of 10-step formula for you to be successful. Do these 3 things and you'll be a successful lash artist. And I don't sell dreams like that. I'm about to teach you how to think. And I'm not trying to be rude or come off any kind of way when I say that. But a lot of people don't know how to think. Business is new for a lot of us. Business was new for me. I had little side hustles, but I had never owned a business before. So having to learn all of this stuff, I'm already a critical thinker. And so that was helpful to me, but everybody's not a critical thinker. And that's okay. That's why we get mentors. That's why we get people to help us learn how to think differently so that we can have different perspectives and we can make different choices and progress in all of the things. So those bi-weekly calls will be mandatory for me to help you be accountable and for me to help you with whatever you need help with. And then also in the mentorship program, you will receive one monthly masterclass. So that will be where all the mentees get on a call together and I teach on the subject that is not necessarily included in the social media marketing and branding class. So that's a huge advantage to not just taking the class, but also becoming a mentee, because you're about to learn so much more about business and about growing as a lash artist than you are just from simply that class. That class is going to teach you a lot of the foundational stuff of marketing and branding, things that you need to be able to gain clientele and, really build the identity of your business, which is your brand, and learning how to market, which is how you put yourself and your services out there for people to, book with you. So those monthly master classes, we may do some that cover things or topics in the social media marketing and branding class if that's something that the group is needing, but for the most part, I'll be covering topics outside of that class so that we can really, again, maximize your learning experience and the mentor-mentee relationship. That monthly masterclass, that is the only time all of the mentees will be in one space at one time together, because outside of that, we'll be doing one-on-one work. I really want to give that direct attention to each artist so that I can really help you focus and help you grow. But you have to do the work. You can't manifest. This ain't no name it, claim it kind of game. It ain't no, oh, I practiced this one day or practiced lashes these few days and now I got the books full, or I've posted consistently for a week or a month or even a month and a half to 2 months. And oh, now the book's finna blow up no, that's not what happens. And I'm again gonna help teach you how to think as a lash artist, as a lash business owner, and help you grow your business. So y'all, I'm excited about this mentorship program. The class will be ready on February 1st or before. But February 1st is just the date to give me a little cushion time. And immediately we'll be able to start doing mentoring after that class, once that class is shared. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it answered any questions that you may have. I have had quite a few people from October to December reach out and let me know, hey, I want to work with you, whether it's on YouTube, they've said it, or in DMs or whatever. So I hope that you get to hear this. This video will also be on YouTube. For my YouTube community. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section on YouTube. Like the video, comment, subscribe. And for the podcast, if you have questions, you can write a review or you can send me an email, DM me on I almost said TikTok. DM me on Instagram. I'm here to help however I can. But that is all for this episode, y'all. Again, I hope that something was helpful, was insightful, and I hope to work with you in 2023. Y'all have the day that you deserve.